Hello, my name is Connor Quinn, and in this review we're going to do a quick comparison or take a look at both the Rebel T3i, which I have here, and the Canon 60d digital SLR. Now this obviously isn't a comparison to see which one's better, because obviously the more professional model in many cases is going to be better, but what it's for is basically for beginner photographers who really don't know the difference between a beginner digital SLR and a more advanced pro digital SLR such as the Canon 60d. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over the differences and talk about what the 60d has over something like a Rebel. So first of all, one of the biggest differences between a more expensive digital SLR and a cheaper one like this is the viewfinder. The viewfinder on the 60d is a lot larger, a lot brighter, and a lot better. And it may not seem that important, but trust me, when you start taking more and more pictures and do it all the time, a brighter and bigger viewfinder is definitely better to have and very useful to have, especially in low light conditions. The autofocus system of the 60d is obviously a lot better too. It has 9 cross-type sensors instead of just 1 like the T3i has, and it's a lot faster and more accurate in many situations, especially in low light. Not only is the autofocus faster, in general, the 60d is faster in every way, startup time and shutter delay and whatnot. Also in frames per second, it can shoot 5.3 versus 3.7 frames per second of this Canon, and that difference is definitely pretty noticeable at those speeds. And then finally, a few other things that the 60d has over the Rebel is that it has a longer battery life, and it has a faster max shutter speed, which really isn't that big a deal. 1/8,000th of a second versus 1/4000th of a second, which is the max speed of this camera here. So that's the difference between the two cameras. And really, as you can see, the difference between a beginner model such as this and a more advanced camera, and this has to do with Canon, as well as Nikon, Sony, and many other camera companies, is that the more expensive professional cameras will tend to be faster and more ruggedly built. The Canon 60d is also more ruggedly built than this Canon as well. So that's the main difference really, is speed and durability of the camera. Image quality between the two is actually pretty similar. In fact, this might have better image quality because it's newer. But what really matters when it comes to a more professional digital SLR is the amount of speed and durability it can give a photographer. And for wildlife photographers, sports photographers, or extreme outdoor photographers that take pictures in rain and harsh weather, something like the Canon 60d would be well worth it over the T3i and well worth the extra money. And just so that you know, the difference in price between the two is about $200. For $200 more, you would be able to get the Canon 60d, and this costs $800, so a 60d without a lens, body alone, would go for about $1,000. And this has been a comparison between the Canon T3i Rebel and the Canon 60d.